Buying Black is also a lot of what you're hearing today. The introduction of Cher'Don to Tamika via this dialogue. Tobago saying, hey, I've been challenged just by listening to Cher'Don. Like the versions, when Cher'Don says expand your mind, Buying Black looks very different than worrying about specifically where we are spending our dollars and the relationship to where we're not able to see it on the higher level like Cher'Don speaks to. And you listening to, again, one of our Black level members who has homes around the world and lives in the United States from time to time, but his scaling was the idea of being able to handle lawsuits. And what happens is a lot of times when our owners are going into business, we never think of success to the degree that one day, someday you may get sued. So we wanted to have that dialogue because staying in business sometimes includes being able to survive a lawsuit. So sometimes to make this all full circle and come around, when Tamika highlighted, we're 100 years on catching up. Like our entrepreneurs, Black entrepreneurs and business owners are so creative that they're typically starting out $200,000 less than the majority culture when they start a business, who still fail at 80%. Again, entrepreneurship and business is a unique skill set. I'm highlighting these details for everybody out there listening because, yes, that leeway, as Cher'Don has mentioned, has to be given so that we can scale to the point where a lawsuit don't even scare us, like you just heard of Rashad Howard. So, Cher'Don, I'm going to ask you to jump in because I know that probably didn't seem immediately related to today's discussion, but I wanted our Buying Black conversation to be very different than what people are used to hearing. Your thoughts on kind of everything I threw out there, kind of all in a, all at once. What are your thoughts, Queen?
No, the first thing that really grabbed my attention, is just talking about how on average we start with 200,000 less than other communities that still fail in the first few years at the same rate, right? And so I just wish people would stop and think about that, because if people are starting with $200,000, and most of the business owners that you know probably started with $200 in their personal bank account. like, let's make it. I really want people to stop and think about that, right? Because if you don't have money, is power. I don't care what nobody say. I don't care how you feel about it. There's an amazing book that I'm reading by Rachel Rogers. I think it's called "We All Deserve to Be Millionaires." But what I love about this book is that systematically we've been trained in our community that money doesn't matter and it's not that important, while everybody else is killing it because of the money that they have. And so in that book, in this conversation, it just reminds me that if you have small business owners in your community that made something out of nothing, I made something out of nothing. Imagine if I got to, and I still give back, and I still created my own grants where I gave back in the heart of the pandemic to other small businesses, right? Because I knew that they needed something, and I didn't have much to give, but I gave what I could. If I did that as a thousandaire, imagine what life would look like is like mine and people like me to become multi-millionaires. You don't have to ask us to do. We're going to do anyway. When you still trying to figure out who owns Walmart. Somebody can't even get on this line and tell me who owns Walmart. You may know McDonald's because there was a movie about it. But most of these places, you don't even know who owns Nike. You don't even know who owns the places that you've given all of your hard-earned dollars to. And you know for a fact that they have done nothing for you. My last quick point I think about, and the reason why my partnership with Teeth to Shirt was so important, because we went through this Black Lives Matter movement, and as a print company, I didn't get a lot of that large business, right? And most of those large print jobs didn't come to Black-owned printers. But most importantly, I thought Gildan, sold billions of shirts that had Black empowerment statements on it, right? Even if it was a Black printer, that blank T-shirt was sold by the billions. You don't even know who owns Gildan. You've never heard them help do anything. But y'all out here buying, and we all buying this brand in droves. And they're making money off of our backs and our movements. And then this queen comes in and she produces Black cotton, Black source, manufactured in Africa, Black women farmers, working with Black cotton farmers in the U.S. and Black gin companies, intentional to make sure there's a Black company as our sole print company and distributor of her products. Why? I understand why you may not know, but now that you know, what are you going to do different?